The Mustang, meanwhile, a pair of de Havilland Canada Chipmunk T10s, they're going off to the hold as we watch this two-seat TF-51D. This particular one was built just too late to see combat in World War II. In fact, it was one of the last Mustangs constructed by the Dallas plant of North American Aviation, but it did see active service. Like the Sabre we saw earlier, it was during the Korean War. It served with the Affordable Tactical Reconnaissance Squadron base, like the 4th Fighter Wing with which the Sabre flew, at Kimpo near Seoul, South Korea.
And the P-51 Mustang, of course, widely recognised as the aircraft that won the air war over Germany in the latter stages of the Second World War. The P-51, of course, capable of flying to and from Berlin to protect the bombers that had originally suffered such heavy losses. An obviously American aeroplane built for big Americans. Lots of room inside, a rugged machine.
With that amount of space in the cockpit, not the most uncomfortable way in which to cross the Atlantic, as this aircraft did, following its restoration by fighter rebuilders at Chino. It came across the pond in the summer of 2007 in the hands of the great P-51 Mustang and joined the fighter collection just before that year's Flying Legends airship. As part of that restoration, it was modified into the two-seat TF-51 configuration you see here. Its service with the US Air Force was in fact fairly brief. It had been retired by around 1956, and the aircraft didn't resurface until it appeared in the hands of a collector named Bob Odegaard of North Dakota as a restoration project in January 1999.
Only the Americans could have thought of that. But of course this aircraft really transformed by the Merlin engine. The original Allison Packard-built engine was not at all effective, very poor performer, but when married with the Merlin engine, this really did become the most fantastic of aeroplanes.
It did. The V12 Packard-built Merlin, delivering some 1,695 horsepower, gave the P-51D a service ceiling of over 41,000 feet and a range with ferry tanks of some 1,650 miles.
The P-51 Mustang has that very distinctive screaming note, which is not to do with the engine, I'm told. Although there is some dispute as to what actually causes that, whether it's the pitch of the propeller or a note derived from the gun ports. What do you think it is, Ben?
I'm undecided, I have to say.
There's bound to be somebody who really knows.
Mustang's connection with Britain not only, of course, as a result of the service of so many US Army Air Force units here, particularly in East Anglia during the Second World War, but also stemming from the fact that it was originally designed to meet a Royal Air Force requirement. Only afterwards was it taken on by the US Army Air Force. The British Purchasing Commission triggered the start of design work in April 1940 by North American, and it took just over 100 days for the first prototype to take to the air in September of that year. Those early Allison engine Mustangs didn't entirely go to waste though, in spite of their somewhat disappointing performance, because certainly with the RAF they saw service on armed tactical reconnaissance sorties rather than ordinary fighter duties, and they served with numerous squadrons of Army Cooperation Command.
East Anglia, of course, very much the home of the 8th Air Force of the United States, not only here at Duxford with the P-51s up the road that were based at Falmere, Steeple Morden. Pretty much Little America from there. So as the P-51 turns downwind with the gear down, we have the T-28s taxiing out.
Another North American product, of course, like the